Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, wait. There we go.
There he is.
There he is.
Yeah.
There he is. Good to see you.
It is marvelous to see you. Thank you for accepting this and coming on here. Let me tell you, Javon didn't want me to message you.
Oh, no?
No.
Well, how come?
Because he knows his mama gets into people. So he's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that.
Nah, do what you gotta do. Do what you
What
gotta do.
my intention is to bring out conversations about mental well-being
Mhm,
and also to create a space for men to talk, because
mhm.
that's what's really lacking is the vulnerability and the sensitivity. I want to tell you how in awe I am of you.
Oh, really?
Yes. I have tears too.
Oh, wow.
Um,
I
how many years has it been since your brother passed?
11 years.
11.
Yeah.
Okay. So that day you came over for Javon's birthday party.
Mhm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
You came into the room with such confidence and security of addressing everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I
You
know. I was
really,
kind of just used to that kind of
yeah.
thing.
And I understand it's built into culture too, where some kids are like, it's too
Hmm.
apprehensive because it's uncomfortable to meet new
Yeah.
people. And especially when it's adults. And I am in marvel to know that you were navigating through grief and
Hmm.
still engaged with showing up in life and
Hmm.
having the multidimensional of what really life is and how we mask a lot of things and people have no idea of what we're experiencing and how we hide a lot of things. So thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank
No,
you
I appreciate that.
for showing up in the ways that you have. I've known grief since I was 9 because my grandmother died when I was 9 and she was like a mom to me. So
I'm sorry about that.
I'm not.
No?
No. Well, I understand there were things that I missed out on, yet I also understand it's making me who I am.
Hmm.
And I'm understanding life is impermanent, and I understand that she's not here in a way of a human form, yet I can channel in the energy if need be, because for
Yeah.
me energy doesn't die, it just transforms in a different way, and you have to be able to regulate your nervous system to open up to those frequencies from how I experience grief. So in that, I'm appreciative of the present she gave me for that, because
Yeah.
she died 4 days before my birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So for a 9-year-old, and then, going through a funeral with your birthday and all this and not understanding all that, yet now unpacking it, it's like, and I'm sure there's things for you, 11 years later that you're unpacking about
Mhm.
yourself that shit, this was a big thing. You're processing the shit and you're using the manure.
Yeah, no, that's a good analogy. Yeah.
And, navigating the waters of honoring your brother's energy, his persona, and also not diluting the truth.
Mm.
Because suicide is something that I notice more and more people are so triggered by it. Yet, if they allow a curiosity, they can see it's prevalent in a lot of people. Suicidal ideation is there, yet a lot of us don't want to admit to it, or we don't know how to navigate in it, or we don't know how to feel safe to talk about it
Hmm.
because other people just shut it up and package it up. And it's like, no, you can't. And it's like, yet telling me I can't be something that's going on in me doesn't give me the ability to navigate through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's really true. And I was even talking to my sister about this too, because like a lot of times in school, it's like even like with like kids, if there's anything that like if a book like there's a book that came out that was called 13 Reasons Why. I don't know if you heard of it. Have you heard of the book?
No, I haven't.
No. So the book was about like this girl who it was about a girl that killed herself, right? And I remember the school. It's like a whole story of like her going through all of these tough things throughout high school. But in the end, it's about her killing herself. And I remember the school like just and I had mixed feelings because the school just like took it out of the school. They took it out of the libraries and kind of just said, we don't want the kids reading this. But like I felt like that was almost like an opportunity for them to be like, you know what? Let's tell you why we want to take this out. Let's talk about suicide. But they just kind of just like, oh, that's had suicide. Let's just get out of here. We don't want the kids even knowing about it. But like, you know what I mean? I feel like that was an opportunity to say something to the kids. You know what I mean?
I see more and more there's the avoidance of conversations and acting like
Yeah.
kids can't find out information.
Yeah. Especially in this age with the internet and everything. Like,
But even when you were going on, there were suicides that were going on.
yeah, no, it's true.
Or you saw the self-harm of people overdosing on drugs or drinking too much to black out or, having to get their stomach pumped. All these kind of mechanisms to deal with pain. And acting like, oh, well, if it's out of sight, out of mind, and we don't, and it's like, that's not educating our generations.
No.
And it's belittling those that are experiencing it as if it's a taboo. And I can't even talk about my own like lived experience right now. Because for you back at, 11 years ago, I'm just going in the narration, like my brother committed suicide. And this isn't something I can talk about openly.
Yeah. It did feel like that in moments. And like, even with you talking about like the vulnerability thing, it did feel weird. Cause like you said, it was like, especially like with like men too, it felt like this weird thing of like, I want to talk about it, but like, it's like this, you don't want to like feel like weak. Like there's like this persona that men got to be like tough and it's like emotions, you just wear them on your sleeve and it's just like, it's whatever. And it's just like, it was tough. Like I was only like 13. So it wasn't like, I felt like I was like a man, but it still felt like, oh, I'm in high school now. I gotta like try to like push through it. But eventually I did like hit a wall where I was like, okay, I need to talk to somebody. But it was definitely I was very trying to just like put it to the side. And I figured if I did that, if I just didn't think about whatever, then it would just like fade away. But obviously it doesn't work like that.
Depression and repression do not work. And long term, they have a big impact and you have more work to do. Yet it doesn't mean that the work is daunting. It's actually just coming back home into yourself, into your sensitivity, into your vulnerability, which takes some maneuvering because the nervous system is so used to putting up the defense mechanisms of we don't feel this, we don't talk about this, we don't look at this, and feeling unsafe. What would you like to see for men's well-being?
I don't know how it would get there, but I would like for it to be more comfortable for people to open up. And I think it's slowly getting there because even I always look at things like through media. So like I always look at like movies and stuff like that. And I just see the way like people are portrayed and just the way they show characters like in movies and like in TV shows and stuff. And like, yeah, you'll have like the macho like men still characters. You'll still have a lot of those characters, but you still see people that like feel and like and I only really learned this term mostly just because like my little sisters is like because they're like on like TikTok and stuff. Like there's a whole like e-boy and stuff like that.
What is an e-boy? You're educating me.
An e-boy is just like it's just like an emotional boy. So like it's literally like you get like these guys that are just like they're more feminine, but like they're not gay. Like they don't like guys. They just like just being really feminine. Like they'll put on what's it called? Like mascara. They'll put this thing is existed. Like they like you look at like Michael Jackson and Prince, like they were like feminine.
They're artistic. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just feel like those type of guys are like way more like prominent. Like I guess like I even saw a lot of it like when I was in like university and stuff. I feel like those dudes weren't, I don't say they like weren't as common, but I feel like it's definitely more, and even through music, it's definitely more common. People just like make a whole album about, I mean, R&B is like a good example of like people talking about their emotions, but I don't know why. I just feel like it's definitely more prominent. I think over time, everything becomes more prominent, but I just like a space where you could just get two dudes talking on a podcast talking about their emotions. I still don't know if we're there yet, but
There are
it,
podcasts like that.
yeah, no, there definitely is. But I feel like,
I don't know in your generation though.
yeah, I think like maybe just below me, it's coming up more, and then like I guess as the people are like looking like reflecting on their life, they're like, yeah, I definitely could have been, but I want it to become like common space. I am. I'm just thinking about like on the high school of like how you could get there. I guess it comes down with coaches. If like a coach is like, hey guys, um, if you ever want to, it probably have to be a more one-on-one thing because I don't think people would really want it to be like, hey guys, if everyone wants to talk about life, whatever, like my office is open. I don't know if that process like works because
I don't
then
know because there's hesitation in that also because a lot of sexual assaults and
mm,
teachers and coaches taking advantage of those vulnerable states with other
okay,
people.
yeah,
So, those are the things that the schools are becoming apprehensive because when you're vulnerable, you're in a state that other people can take advantage
yeah,
of. And
hmm,
so I think it needs to be in a curriculum. I think
yeah,
it needs to be
that's yeah,
mandated as a class.
hmm,
I think that's if we want education in a proper way, these are the mandated classes that we start understanding what these emotions are. Because most people
yeah,
have no idea.
yeah,
They're like, oh, there's just happiness, sadness, anger. That's it. It's like, what? No. Like, what are you talking about? It's multidimensional. And you don't just experience one or the other. Sometimes you can have all three at the same time. It's
yeah,
not just that. Like, it's complex and it's not
yeah.
black and white thinking.
Well, to jump in because like I just realized that I had a stress management class when I was in university, but it wasn't like mandatory. It was only like if you wanted to be in it, you took it. So like, okay, yeah, I'm in university. I got like two midterms next week and all these like like I let me get into the stress management thing. So like I tried that and I was like, as I was going through the whole class, I was like, man, I was like, I'm learning so much. Like I was that yeah, that just brought that memory back to me. I'm like, why wasn't this in high school? Like why wasn't there like if there was an option, kids probably wouldn't take it just because then you're admitting that like, oh, you're taking stress management. Like other kids would be like there's that stigma. But if it was mandatory, and I feel like they could tie it into health class because like they're gonna teach you about the body, like the sexual organs, teach you about hormones, all those things. Why not just throw like that other stuff like right in there? It's like it's right there. Like why are you guys not talking about this? Like it's supposed to be like health. Like, why is that part not part of health? I think that's definitely something that needs to be put in there. Like, I don't understand why that's not part of health.
What do you think would have helped assist you when you were 13 going through that with Kyle when he transitioned?
Hmm. I'm gonna pause for a second. I'll,
Yep.
I'll answer that, but I just want to plug my thing in
Yep.
because it's about to die. What was your question
Um,
again? Sorry.
when you were 13 and when Kyle transitioned,
Yeah,
because hindsight is 2020, what are the things that would have benefited you?
hmm. That's a good question. When I think back to that time, I feel like I think it would have benefited me to talk more with my hmm. It definitely would have like helped me more if I talked like more to my dad. Like we talked, but I think we were both such like in a huge like thing of grief that it was tough to like really we talked, but I think we didn't really get like because I guess at 13 or you don't even I'm trying to like process what even like happened. You know what I mean? It was just like okay, like yeah, Kyle's like really gone. It's like what you start questioning your faith like and everything, right? It's just like oh like how did he get that sad? Like how did I not know? You know what I mean? Or how did none of us know that he was upset? Like it's one of those things where it's just like you see him every single day. We're like sitting there playing video games like it's normal. And like the 13-year-old like, oh, he's just upset today. Or he doesn't want to talk because like I don't know, maybe something at school is bothering him. He's like, yeah, I'm just 13 years old, right? So it's just like I don't understand what's going on. And I think that yeah, it's a tough thing to say because what would benefit me? It was just more. I think I would have benefited from talking to somebody that like went through a similar experience, I guess. Because I to this day, really, I don't know anybody else that's had someone close to them like commit suicide. But there was like a brief moment where like I mean it was completely different because I was like, oh man, like that's tough, but it's different because my friend when he was in university, his dad committed suicide. So I was like that. I was like that's like I'm not like ranking them, but I'm like oh, that's such a different thing. Like that was like your like maybe you're like your role model. That was someone that like raised you versus this was something that I grew up with. So it's like different, like emotions, different like thought process of like that was a person like I asked like, oh, what do I like to ask questions to or something like that. I think I asked your older brother questions too, but just like a different dynamic. So I think talking to someone who kind of went through like a similar thing, which I guess I still really haven't gotten at that time, definitely would have been like if they were like, oh, things get better. You should like not like tell me what to do, but like this is something that like I went through. This is something that I did. I think that could have like definitely helped me a lot. Cause like I'd say, even though that I tried to still like I guess put myself out there, still like surround myself with friends and like play sports and stuff, I felt like that definitely could have helped me because I felt like I was kind of like just still scrambled up here. And that idea of suicide was definitely in my head. Like every time I was like really upset or something really bothered me, I'm like, I'd always be like, man, maybe I should just do what Kyle did. Maybe that's the release of like this pain. I think I needed someone to tell me that like, no, that's not how it should be. Cause like I had those similar thoughts because I went to the same thing as you. And like that's no, there's more to life than that. I'm still here. So clearly I found like other methods, but I think at the time it would have again, we're talking about the whole hindsight thing. I think it would have helped like the process. It took me a lot longer to get to like where I am now, and still working on myself. Um, yeah, I think it definitely would have helped that process.
You feel that the working is that you're trying to remove something from yourself, or is it acceptance?
I think for a long time was more of acceptance. Like I was trying to accept the fact, like because it's a weird thing too, especially as like a little kid. Like it sounds like really like ridiculous, but you almost think it's like a bad dream. You know what I mean? I was for a while like I haven't really told a lot of people this, but I always felt like I was like, no, he's gonna show up. Like this is just like he didn't actually do it. He did like he was just like that was someone else that looks like Kyle. Like he's gonna come through that door. Like or it's like this is just like a really bad dream. I've had like this really realistic bad dream before. Like everyone has like had a bad dream where it felt like really we wake up and felt really real. It felt like a bad dream. I was like, oh no, he's gonna come back. And then in those moments where you like, because like I'd have those moments where like he's gonna come back, and then I'd be like, no, he's not coming back. I get really sad. And then like later on, I would have been like, no, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. And now it was like a really weird time that it was just yeah, it was accepting. It took me a while to finally like accept it, and yeah, I've definitely accepted it now, but it took a long time to finally find that acceptance. It was really confusing, like really confusing to understand.
I know exactly what you mean. Because, like I said, when my grandmother died when I was 9, it was like, okay, she's going to come back. Yet there was a
Yeah.
dense feeling of like, no, she's not. Yet that hope of no, 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 this reality isn't going to be like this now. Like this is
Hmm.
just some awful dream, and you're not going to
Yeah.
have to carry this. And it's like, oh, but this isn't going away, and I'm having to carry this thing. And what the heck is going on? Um,
Yeah.
it's very confusing. Was there a reason why it took you so long to do therapy?
Yeah, I was afraid what they were gonna tell me, to be honest. I think it's a lot of people. If you don't really know much about therapy, you think like I was saying, I thought they were gonna like I thought therapy was literally them like telling you what to do, or I'd feel like they'd tell me that what I was doing like was wrong. I don't know, because like I felt like I got to this place where I was like, okay, I feel motivated. I'm doing a lot of things. I was like, this feels right, which really I was just pushing this stuff to the side. Like I felt good because I was trying on my most like not to think about it. I was like, and I think a part of me was scared. I was like, oh, they're gonna tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. Like I think that's what it, like a big fear of mine. And even when I was doing it, I was slowly feeling. I was like, oh man, like she's like, because it was a female, and she was like, oh, she's gonna tell me what I'm doing is wrong, but she never did. But like I constantly had this fear. Like sometimes I wouldn't even tell her things. I'd be like, oh, I did this, and like I would be worried she'd like pry pry into me. I was definitely worried of like them getting like too deep into me. Like, oh, well, why do you do that? It's just like I don't want to. Now I gotta really think about why I do that. But that was that was a big fear.
Yeah, your defense mechanisms were up because you know you're bullshitting yourself in certain places.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and you have to thank the nervous system for that, because
hmm
it's trying to protect you. And
yeah.
so it has a defense, and it's really it's yeah. Yet I want to commend you on your self-awareness.
I appreciate. Thank you. It took me a while to get here, but but I appreciate you saying that.
It's that self-awareness to hear this
Mhm.
voice and not be it and observe it. And it's like and the feelings and stuff. That's the thing. It's, emotions we tend to identify with when we forget that they're simply feelings and they'll pass through, yet we constrict them. And like you just said, it was difficult to be honest,
Yeah, it
even though
is.
you're
It's very
living
hard.
your life. And it's like, yet to reveal the nitty parts of it, I don't know how to do that with somebody.
Yeah.
And that's part of what the world has created. We're more dishonest than we are honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Because it feels safe.
challenging. Hmm.
It feels safe because like when you're honest, that means like you're opening yourself up, like you're putting yourself out there, and then it's almost like you're waiting for someone to bring you back down. But if I stay down here and I'm not honest, then I don't have to worry, because if my lie is like if someone like confronts me on that lie, then it's like, oh, it wasn't true anyway, so it's like whatever. But it's when it's your truth, and then someone like hits on it, and it's like, oh, that's me. Like they're coming, like it feels like they're coming after you. Yeah.
And that's where you need a safe space with somebody when they're asking the questions, that they can also pick up on the cues when you are dysregulated and your nervous system is feeling under threat. So that
Mm,
it's like, oh, wait, you don't feel safe right now. And that's important, because when we don't feel safe, we take certain actions that we're not even aware of. All of a sudden, you
yeah.
yell at this person, you throw this, you do that, because you're not feeling safe. I'm going to bring you into a reflective question.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to go back to your 18-year-old self.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you to bring this awareness, and you can offer 3 words to your 18-year-old self. What would they be?
When I think of myself at 18, I think of someone who was very, very confused, and someone who was easily influenced, trying to figure out, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I did the victory lap, because honestly, like Javon helped me to do that too, because he took the victory lap because he said he was trying to figure out his stuff. So I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I should do that too next year, because I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to just like jump into anything, because like I don't even know what I like. I have interest, but I don't know what I want to jump into. So still, I wish I'd try to introduce stillness to myself. So I'd just say, just be still. I don't know if 18-year-old would get that. I'd say just be still, because like you're confused, but you're not stopping to think. I was trying to do a lot, where I was like, even because I don't want to say that victory lap didn't help, but I don't remember myself like really like actually trying to think. Like, I'm gonna do this victory lap, and I'm gonna play basketball, and I'm gonna do all these other things, which is felt like another year of just distracting myself, so I don't have to really think about it. And then literally someone said, "Oh, you should do this program," and I was like, I'm gonna do that. And it's like, "Oh, what am I gonna do next? I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this." But it's like there was never, "Oh, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna make money doing this. I'm gonna do this." I'm just like, I never, yeah, just be still, because I don't really recall many moments where I just sit there and be like, take a deep breath and be like, are you enjoying this? Is this, are you motivated? Like, is this, and like motivation isn't necessarily like you do motivation. It's like through the consistency and like um working towards your goal. But like I never like just like sat in it and just like thought, how's your physical health doing? How's your mental health doing? And like where are we going? So just be still.
What would you like to offer the listeners?
For anyone that's listening, I just really want to put the nail, like I'm forgetting the analogy, put the like really like hammer home just the thought process of like everything's like a process, like everything's like a trial and error process, and it's something that I've like really every week I do like a weekly reflect, and I feel like that's the one thing too. I'll add on. I need to add that part into like doing a weekly reflect for yourself. Some people maybe need to do like a daily reflect, just reflect of the day you just had, but reflecting on what transpired in the last week, 2 days, 3 days, just like thinking, like really like thinking about what happened, like I guess with you, maybe your interactions. That's kind of, it's kind of like a deep thing, or like a moment where you need to have stillness to kind of like sit there quiet and just think like, how did last week go for me? What was that like why did I get so angry about like this one thing? Like I want people to get comfortable with being in the stillness, because it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable at all. Because like I've tried, again, I realize that it doesn't work. You can't put that onto people. But I tried to like help other. I don't want to say their names, but I tried to get people to try and like try out the stillness. But I guess they're not in a place where they're comfortable, because they're like, oh, why? Like I don't want to be like I don't like it when it's quiet. And that's like, okay, well, yeah, I can't force it on you if you don't want it. But I really tell people to try to get comfortable, because it's not an easy place to be, because when things get quiet, the negative thoughts could come. But sometimes maybe you need to, maybe not the negative self-talk, but like if suddenly things get quiet and then something like upsetting hits you, maybe you need to like really like get into it. Like why, like, oh, this thing is like really upsetting me. It's like I need to think, like process what's going on here. Like a lot of times, like you're talking about, like with like Javon, like you need to process things. Like it's really important to process your emotions. Certain little emotions, some emotions will come at you all throughout the day. Like energy will hit you. Like negative people will like, come through you. You don't necessarily need to let their negativity like sit with you. But if it's your own personal thing, like his own personal struggle, that you know that like, oh man, like I haven't talked to my brother in like 2 weeks because we had a fight. Like why am I really holding on to that? Is it really that serious? Like God forbid something happens to him. God forbid something happens to me. It's like, is that what we really want to like sit with? Like I think it's just, I want people to try to get comfortable being in that small, in that space of just like of stillness. And if you need to, time it. You know what I mean? Like don't feel like, okay, I'm gonna try this hour of stillness, and then it's just like, oh, that hour didn't work, and then it's like I give up on it. Like try 5 minutes, try 10 minutes, try. So you have to start small. Like I said, it's a process. Everything's a process. Everything's trial and error. See what works best for you. Maybe you need that stillness at the end of the day. Maybe you need it at the beginning of the day. Maybe you need it at your lunch period, because you need it because your mornings are stressful, and then you need stillness to let you the rest of the day be good for you. It's just, you just try to find that moment in your day where you can just be still. You know?
Thank you for that. Yeah, stillness.
Mm.
Yeah, if more people were in that, things would be different in the world too.
Yeah.
We're so busy going places, doing things, bumping in, and it's like, can you just be in boredom for a bit?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It is, because there's stuff that comes up. And if you don't have the ability or the tools to navigate in that, it overwhelms you. And I think it's really important, like you just said, don't overwhelm your system. And then you all of a sudden have aversion and reject it. It's like, listen to your body. maybe it's only 5 minutes you can do today, or maybe tomorrow it's an hour, or maybe it's this. Yet don't overwhelm your body. Listen to it and be curious about it also. Like, be curious of what's really going on. What is this discomfort? Like, be able to see that I have the capacity to experience this, to feel this. And it takes, like you said, a process. It's work. I think a lot of times what people want is an arrival space. Everything will be fine and I won't have to feel no more in life. And that's it. And it's like, that's not life. And then you have to ask too, like, well, if that was life, would you really enjoy yourself?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Like, you're just in this one state that everything's all bliss. And it's like, how are you able to relate with other people?
Yeah, no, that's true.
How can you see them? How do you know what it is to interact with, life and the dynamics of it? And I get it. I get apprehensive when I see, oh, here comes that cocoon again that I have to go and eat myself. And as I watch the snow pouring down in front of me right now, I'm like, oh, it's snowing. Okay, yet where's the curiosity? There's magical things in this, even though it's discomforting and it's not your favorite thing, there's still magical things in here. And you have to be open for that. If you choose not to, and it's fine. Yet there's a lot of different things that you can find. And it requires the tools. It requires recognizing that you have the tools inside you, yet you have to develop them. And you have to find out what works for you. And to recognize we're here to thrive and we're here to expand and stretch. Stretching sucks. Ask any athlete how much they don't want to do stretching, because it brings you into stillness too. You need to slow down. You need to really feel the body and stretch it out. And it's like, no, this is a waste of time. Like, just go fast. And it's like, no, stretch so that you can maximize the potential, maximize the energy, and that there is longevity in this. But it's, yoga, when a lot of people where it's going mainstream with yoga, it's like, you don't even understand it's to get into your body. This isn't a competition of look what I can do and all this. It's actually those that can do those things is because they've had the ability to get into their body and hold on to the stillness and allow themselves to go into the micro parts of your muscles, of your nervous system, of your blood system, your breath, your lungs. Because we usually just go into macro and just, that's a car, it runs. It's like, oh, wait, did you look at the little fine details of what makes this car run? No, I don't have time. Just let me ride in there. And it's like, if if you're interested in critical thinking and looking at the whys of things, you become fascinated, like, oh, okay. And take yourself off the hook. Because a lot of times we put ourselves on a hook of harshness, and that's just the nervous system being activated. And once we recognize, oh, we're in that state, it's like, no, we can be somewhere else. Like, what's going on? And that's where we have to be able to talk to ourselves in a gentle way, and also know how to reach out for help. And not only in a professional way, it's like, and I do understand the professional way, because sometimes your family members can't listen to you.
Yeah, that's true.
They want to save you.
Yeah.
And you got to process some shit. And so then you're stuck with trying to save them because you don't want to make them worried, and they don't have the capacity to listen to you. So then you're not getting any kind of benefit from it. Even though you feel safe, there's still some apprehension of safety of, I got to caretake your emotions. I got to caretake how you are feeling. I got to think about you before myself. And it's like, that's not helping you.
Yeah. So
that's why some, professionals, or when you can find other people that just give a safe space that you can have honesty with yourself. So it's as simple as it sounds. That's what it is. We don't know how to be honest with ourselves. And it takes a discovery.
Like, it's tough.
It's too simple. And it's like, yet look what you're doing. I don't want to hear that. That's not what and it's like, well, kind of a little bit, but still, that's just how it goes. And it's like, okay, yet is it serving you? well, and it's like, I understand the process of being honest and being aware, and also breathing. We take for granted our breath because it's just something physiologically that keeps us alive. We don't even realize that we have an ability to tap into something more powerful with our breath.
Mm-hmm. No, it really is powerful. It really is.
Because when you're in a state, when you're in a state and all of a sudden you, go into your breath, and then you start to see, and, oh, wait, what is this space? What's this place? And but a lot of us, though, I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me to breathe. I don't want to hear that shit. Don't tell me. And that's why, a lot of people aren't introduced to breath when they're in a safe space. They're introduced to it when they're already heightened, and there's no talking to somebody when they're on a ledge. They're wanting to jump. And so you're trying to give them something that makes them even more, it feels more of a threat. And it's like, you have to teach these things when somebody is in a safe space, so that then when they're heightened, they understand the tools to get into. Yeah. And so that they can hear it properly, that, oh yeah, this simplicity of, where's my breath? Okay, let me be in it. I hope that makes sense for you.
No, it does. It really does. I with the whole, especially with like the breath thing, I've found moments where like I've tried to incorporate like a lot more throughout my day, and like even times like if I'm at work and like I get like really stressed out, I'll just like, because I have the ability to do this. I can just like, because like I work like individual, I can just like stop. I just go into like the bathroom or something, and just breathe. Just take the time, breathe, and then I can go right back in to work. Not everyone has that freedom. It's just like a specific thing that I have, just like with the kind of work that I do. Because right now I work in a warehouse, and a lot of it's just like individual stuff. And yeah, that ability to just like stop, close my eyes, and sometimes I can even put in my headphones in, like put in some like relaxing music, and just try to get myself back into a state, and just like process what just happened, like what just made me like have like a mini panic attack or whatever it is, and then I can go from there.
Yeah. Warrior work, Deion.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It's warrior work to be gentle. It's warrior work to give yourself permission to do that.
Yeah.
And that's what another thing that needs to be taught is taking the pauses. Doesn't matter what kind of job you're doing. Take a pause for a minute.
Yeah.
That's why I intentionally, when I'm going through certain drive-throughs or getting service from people, I'm having a conversation with them. And I see the hustle and bustle. Oh, we got to go. And it's like, no, I see you as a human being, and they appreciate that. They're like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. And some of them start crying because,
oh, wow.
Yeah, because, a lot of people are in roles of service and they're not even treated like a human being. And they don't even know how to treat themselves that way. It's like, I'm in a job and I'm not entitled to have any feelings. Leave that at the door. You have to be. And it's like, leave what at the door? Like, I'm a human, living, breathing thing. So like, but this treadmill of go faster. And it's like, the simple thing, my gratitude that I create in the world when I go out there, every person I go to, I say, I appreciate you.
That's really good. I feel like I should do that more.
And you'll probably get a lot of people telling you, I wish there were more people like you in the world.
Yeah, I know. Because you don't hear it often. A lot of times, like, you may not even say it, but you obviously, like, you do appreciate, especially if it's like loved ones and stuff. But like, it's good to remind people. It's like, hey, like, I appreciate you, like, just listening to me for these 5 minutes. You just heard me ramble, and then just like, I appreciate you, like, giving me your time, like those little things like that. It's just
or even just the basic, I appreciate you.
Yeah, just straight up.
Not even the actions. Not that they gave you something, just them as being a being. I appreciate you. I remember I told that to my friend one time, and he's like, I don't understand. I was like, I appreciate you for you. Like, I don't get that. Like, I didn't do anything for you. I'm like, you don't have to do anything for me. I appreciate you. And it opened up something for him. He's like, wow. Because a lot of times we use appreciation because we received something or we gave something. not just the appreciation of life. I appreciate you as a being.
Yeah. I appreciate like the connection. Like, you know, again, you don't have to say it, you don't have to like rope it. I'm just thinking like in my head, it's like, yeah, I just
but it's
appreciate,
hard
like,
just to be, you see how difficult it is to simplify our language of, I appreciate you. I
feel like we always try to attach the I appreciate you for, because if you just say, like you said, you tell someone you just appreciate them, they're gonna be like, for what? Like they're instantly gonna be like, why do you appreciate? Like they're like, what did I do? Like why do you appreciate me? So I feel like that's why I always like put the comma and then like add a like why appreciate. But yeah, just telling someone that you just like, I appreciate you and just letting it.
That's the stillness.
Yeah.
That's the stillness you have to sit in.
Yeah.
And let them be awkward with it.
Okay.
And that's the connection. That's the space between thoughts. That's the space between words that you can meet people into. And for them to see, like, I've forgotten just to appreciate my existence. Because we are very indoctrinated that appreciation comes from an action, a doing. I just appreciate you. But I didn't do anything for you. You have to do something for me to appreciate you.
Yeah.
Even to a stranger.
Yeah, true. It almost feels like transactional. It's just like, I can only appreciate you if you do something for me. Like you only just, yeah. So yeah, just, yeah. I'm just like really taking in what you said. Like, it's just, I never really thought of it like that. Trying to process it.
Yeah. And it's awkward until you do it a few times and recognize it. It's like, and while you're saying it to somebody else, you're actually receiving it too.
Yeah.
And reminding yourself, are you actually appreciating this person to the degree that you can? Because it brings more accountability in. But it's that stillness, that silence that we've been so anchored in. It has to be an action. It has to be a doing for there to be an appreciation.
Yeah.
And then we get so wired with that where it's like, no, I just appreciate you for you.
Yeah.
Just your existence, you being there. And that makes a person feel seen in a world where a lot of people don't feel seen, and that's what they're seeking for.
Yeah.
They're longing for it. So yes, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I receive it. Thank you. Thank you for being on the podcast. I greatly appreciate your vulnerability, this enriching conversation of allowing us to go into some in-depth intimacy and your thought processes and what you've experienced. So thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing yourself with everyone.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. This is, I'm taking a lot from this conversation, and it helped me like reflect a lot. And even just, like, because talking about my brothers, like when I talked about him, like on my, my own podcast, it was just like, it's just like a one-sided thing where I was just kind of just like pouring out, but getting to go back and forth with someone was definitely like a different experience. And then obviously just like hearing your feedback, and again, you experienced loss with your grandmother at a young age. So just kind of like us like connecting on that, and then just speaking on a variety of topics that are very important. And I just really, I was really excited to come on here, and that's why I did it, obviously. And I appreciate you, and thank you for having me on. Thank you very much.
Remember to be kind and gentle with yourself.
Yeah, it's important. Very important.
Thank you for making it all the way to the end. I appreciate you and your time. If you found anything that was relevant, or perhaps there's somebody that you think can benefit from this podcast, please share it out. Help grow the community. Help grow Lift Oneself. You can find more information on our website at www.liftoneself.com. Until next time, be sure to be kind and soft with yourself. You matter.